Hey YouTube family, this is Queen Renee coming at you guys with another video. Now I know I made a earlier today. I went live earlier today to do just one of my little murder videos that I do from time to time. But this here video is going to be telling you guys um, my Texas winter storm experience and what it was like here. I started not to make this video because I did do um a video with I Am Chi, or Chop It Up with Chi. I did a video with her about the storm. But I really kind of wanted to do my own video on my own channel about my experiences, um, my own experiences, and not, you know, not be on somebody else's channel. But anyway, I mean, and I'm grateful for her channel, for her always wanting to have me on her on her channel, and to do things with her, collaborations and things like that. And that's just fine. But I just kind of wanted to do my own video as well. So as some of you that are subscribed to my channel, and I don't have very many subscribers, so most of my subscribers know that I live in Texas, and I've actually lived in Texas since 2012. Um, we moved here in March, I believe March 1st of 2012. And so in the years that we've been here, we've had a couple of ice storms. That the first one that we had was the first winter that we were here in 2012. That year, that I want to say it was that December or something of that nature. I believe it was. Um, we got we had a really bad ice storm. We were not ready for that. I was just kind of like dumbfounded because I did not think that happened in Texas. So it was it was pretty bad. It shut the city down for a few days, because, as we all know, people in Texas just cannot drive in any type of precipitation, be it rain, definitely not snow and ice. Um, it just is not something that they are ready for. Why they can't drive in rain, I don't get, because it does rain here. But anywho, I digress. So that was the first year that we were here, the first winter that we were here, and we had that ice storm, and like I said, it shut the city down um, for a few days. I'll say like maybe 3 days or something, and then it was back to normal. So I want to say the next time we had a winter storm, and it was, once again, it was an ice storm. It was like in 2015. And I remember at, I want to say I was working at Tel Vista then. And yeah, because I had to drive over, I was going George Bush Turnpike at that time, all the time, the toll road George Bush. And the streets and things were just absolutely horrific. Um, There were hardly any people that ventured out. I was one that did because I'm thinking, it ain't that bad outside. It's just a little ice and we should be okay. When I hit those highways and it was so like it was ice everywhere, it was awful. So after that, I really just kind of, whenever we have some type of precipitation as far as ice, snow, things like that, I don't drive in it. I just refuse to drive in it. So, um, but this year, I decided I was going to go to work. So when I left Sunday morning, so Sunday when I got up to go to work, it had snowed. And I was like, oh my. And it was still kind of snowing when I had got up to get ready for work. So I got up and I actually packed a bag. And I also took my big fuzzy blanket with me to work. And because I was just kind of like, if it keeps snowing like this, I'm not going to be able to make that trip back home, make that ride back home. So I decided to take my stuff with me, and just in case, I decided to go to a hotel or what have you. So by the time I got to work, trying to drive, and it was it was kind of bad, but um the fact that it wasn't very many people out there made it easier, I guess. And except for the people that were just like flying by, um, because it's people that drive these big stupid trucks that think that they're invincible and their trucks can handle anything, um, and they go flying by you and shake your car and all of that bull crap. Um, that makes it hard on people like myself who know how to drive in it, but are not prepared for the not prepared for um having someone drive really fast and not be very I guess I want to say, what do I want to call it? Courteous of the other people that are on the roads. They just act like you're nothing and they just keep going. So anyway, I digress. Let me keep it moving because y'all know, anyone that knows me knows I can be long-winded. So anyway, we're driving. I get to work and I'm like, you know what? I can't do that ride home tonight because I work until 10. I don't get off of work until 10 p.m. So I'm like, I can't do that ride. I can't do that drive back home. And it had even started snowing even harder. I want to say around about 6 o'clock. It really just started coming down really bad. I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna drive back out there and go home in that, because it's gonna be dark. So once I had got to work and everything, and I had realized, I had decided that I was not going to drive back home. I had talked to my boss and I was told her, I said, I need a hotel room because I'm not gonna be able to make that drive back. Well, she had already gotten hotel rooms for other people, and she had asked me, did I want one? Well, I initially did not want a hotel because I just didn't want to go to stay in a hotel. And so I had told her no, that I didn't want a hotel. I would come in and we would see, but if I got stuck there, what would be the game plan? So she was like, if I got there and decided to get a hotel room, she'd get me one, which she did. She secured me a room. I checked in at about 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. It was still snowing. So after work, I go to the hotel, I shower, I get my jammies on, and I happen to, I was going in the refrigerator to put things in that I had brung with me, and I found a bottle of spiced rum. So I take the bottle of spiced rum and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna do it. So when I got to the hotel, I realized that I had not packed any of my medications. I have a few um, chronic ailments, and I do take medications on a daily. So I realized that I had forgotten my medications. So at this time, I'm like, I'm not going to be able, I need something to sleep because I have to take muscle relaxers to make me sleep. Because if I don't, I will wake up, I won't sleep throughout the night. I'll wake up several times and be up for hours. Anyway, I digress. So spiced rum it was. Drank the bottle, everything's good. All of a sudden the lights go out. So when the lights go out, I'm just like, oh man. But I really didn't think too much of it. I just figured, they're gonna be out for a little bit. I might as well call it a night. So I get wrapped up in my covers and I go to sleep. Well, at some point during the night, the power comes back on because the TV starts playing and the light above the bed comes on. So that wakes me up. I turn off the TV, I turn off the light, and I go back to sleep. I wake up again and realize the power is off again. And so at this point, when the power went off this second time, it never came back. So by the time I woke up Monday morning, I get up and I want to take a shower because it's when I say it's so cold. It was so cold in there. It was ridiculous. Now apparently my boss had texted me at like 8:30 in the morning talking about I need you to come and clock in as ASAP. Well, your girl worked till 10, first of all. Second of all, drank over a half a bottle of spiced rum. So coming in at 8:30 wasn't gonna be that thing. So anyway, I went ahead and I got up and I text her, and it's like 11 something at this point. I text her and I tell her I'm getting up, I'm gonna get cleaned up and get dressed in this cold dark room because it was cold and it was dark. It was only dark because I had the blackout curtains closed, but it was like freezing in there. So I go and I was gonna try to take a shower, then realize no hot water. And so I'm just like, oh my God. So I had to actually just, you know, throw some water in there and see if I can catch it. Because it was so cold. I was like, oh, and I was just like, oh, cringing, touching myself with that cold towel. I mean, winter outside, it felt like it was ice water. So I get dressed, and mind you, this is Monday. I get dressed, I get down to the job. By the time I get to my job, it's like 5 minutes after 12, something like that. And I get down there. Once I get there, there's no lights. Everybody's standing in front. And I'm like, what the hell? So it's like there's no lights and the phones have gone down. So apparently, when the lights went out, uh, they had, I believe it was two computers that were working. So they moved to the computers that were working because, mind you, it wasn't very many of us in there. But They tried to use the computers. Well, the computers on one side shut down. The computers on the other side was still up. They were trying to still use those computers. Eventually, those computers went down, but the phones were still working. Therefore, we still had to take calls blindly with no computers, not knowing what systems these people have, and they're calling saying, "My system is going down. I have no power. My system is doing this awful beeping. God, can you stop it?" And it's just so stressful. So people just lose their minds when they hear beeping and they just go crazy. So anyway, so we're trying, they were trying to field these calls with no computers. Um, we've had to do it before, but it's a hard thing to do. But luckily for me, I didn't have to do that because by the time I got there, I guess the phones had went down maybe about 10 minutes before I got there. So the phone shut down. Once the phone shuts down, we're done. We can't do nothing. So we tried to stick it out and see if it was going to come back. The power was going to come back on at any time, but it didn't. It was just done and it was out for hours. So at this point, my boss has said, she was like, "Well, we're gonna we're gonna get I'm gonna get rooms," and she went out and found some rooms. She got their last 4 rooms that they had, and she ultimately told me to go down there and see if the power was back on at the hotel that I was at. Um, and then I told her I didn't want to be at that hotel. I wanted to be with them. So she was like, "All right, go get your things." Well, when I got down there, they still didn't have any power anyway. So I went in, I got my stuff, and then we ended up going to what's called the courtyard. The court is the Marriott. So we went there and they had a little um, bistro in there. So we had dinner there. And then the next morning, we had breakfast. We all had breakfast together. And they actually all went to work. Now, mind you, I don't start work until 1 p.m. So they all, it was 4 of them, my boss, the supervisor, and 2 agents. So they all left and they went to work. I actually went back upstairs and went back to bed because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep, take a little nap here, get up, get dressed, and go on into work. Because mind you, I had my car. No one else really that was at the hotel had their own car except for my boss. So I get dressed and I go to work. I show up at work mm, at 1 o'clock, so or so. Once I walk in, there's no lights. I'm like, "What the heck?" She's like, "I just sent you a message." She was like, "You didn't read my message. You didn't get my message." And I was like, "No." And I was like, I was rushing to get here on time. So she had sent me a message telling me that there was no power. So the lights had went out again, but at this time we still had phones. So I logged into my phone. I took one call and I never finished the call because during the call the phones dropped. So the phones are gone again. Now this is Tuesday. So the phones drop again. So we sat there a good 2 hours, I think, something like that. And then they decided that they were going to let us go. And so at this point, I'm like, so I've been there Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. This was Tuesday. So at this point, I was like, well, maybe I'm going to run because I know we're going to be stuck here a couple more days or whatever. I'm going to run to the ER and see if I can get some meds, at least get, you know, something, the important situation. So after we were just leaving, like we were literally in our cars, and the power comes back on. So therefore we have to go back in this building and go back to work. So we go back to work. We're working. We probably have power. I want to say a good hour, two, maybe. I don't even know if it was 2 hours. Power goes out again. Power goes out again. We we still got the phones. It seemed like the phones would last about a good 45 minutes after the power goes out. So we still have the phones. We're taking calls. Phones go dead. We're like, good. Hopefully this shit'll stay off and we can get the fuck out of here. Cause at this point, we're over it. We've, it's been, cause it did that, like, I want to say at least 3 times. Power out. So we're like, okay, we only got another hour in here, another hour to go, and we're out of here. When the power had went out the last time, but this time around, it didn't even give us an hour because we figured, the way it had been going, that it would be an hour before that, at least an hour, hour and a half before the power came back on. But it didn't. It was only out for maybe like 20, 30 minutes. So we had to go back to work. We finish up that night and we all leave. And I go back to the hotel. I can't remember. Yeah, I go back to the hotel and take a shower. Now this is Tuesday night, right? Yeah, this is Tuesday night. So go back, take a shower and everything. Make me one of them bowl of noodle type things or whatever. Because we didn't really have real food. We ate like once or twice a day, like real food. Like on Tuesday, I didn't go and have, did I have breakfast with them on Tuesday? Yeah, I had breakfast with them on Tuesday. So on Tuesday I did have breakfast with them, and then she had bought, can't remember what we had on Tuesday. Oh, we had Sonic on Tuesday. So she bought us Sonic on Tuesday. So then come Wednesday morning, wake up, and I have to check out of that hotel. Now, this is the second hotel. We're at the Marriott. So I check out of there, and then I go to work. So when I get to work, this is Wednesday. Yeah, this is Wednesday. Get to work. And Wednesday, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we pretty much were good on Wednesday. Like, we really didn't have any power outages and stuff like that. So we were good, but it was still, it had started snowing just a little bit, not a lot. So, and they were saying that Wednesday was supposed to be worse than Sunday was. So at that point, we knew we were going back to a hotel. She had gotten a hotel. She had went and found us another hotel because the Marriott was like, I guess our maximum stay was 2 days, which don't make sense to me because if I'm already in your hotel and I got the room, why do I have to? Maybe they had them already booked out. I don't know. But anyway, so our maximum stay was 2 days, and we had to leave out of there. So we left. She told me that my room wasn't ready. Everybody else's room was ready, and they had their keys. But mind you, they get off before me. So she said, "Well, your room's not ready. Um, are you gonna be able to drive Nancy, which is one of the supervisors, to the hotel with you? Can she ride with you?" And I said, "That's not no problem." Now, mind you, I was on lunch, and she had asked me. She said, "Well, have you did you go to the emergency room last night, and how do you feel?" Well, I had been having a major killer headache at this point for 2 days, and so she was like, "Did you ever go to the ER and get you something?" And I said, "No." And so she said, "Well, why don't," she was like, "I can drive you now." And I said, "Well, I can drive myself." I said, "But I'm on lunch and I don't know how long this is going to take. It's going to take me there." She's like, "Don't worry about that. I got you. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of it. Emergency room. Do what you need to do. Get yourself together. And then let me know if you need me. I'll come, whatever you need, just let me know." So I was like, all right. So I left there, went to the emergency room. When I get to the emergency room, my blood pressure is like through the roof, which I kind of knew it was because my head, I mean, like major for like 2 days at this point. So I had to have IV meds and all that old goofy malarkey. So they got me some pain pills. What I mean, not pain pills, but like IV pain meds. What they could give me because I was driving myself. So go through that, do all of that, get everything situated with that. I get back to work. When I get back to work, um, one other person that was supposed to be gone already, she was still there, and I'm like, "What are you still doing here?" She was like, she was leaving, and I told her I would just wait. I'll just wait till you come, um, and I'll wait, and I'll just work till 10. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so we get finished, close out the night. We go back to the hotel, um, and we stayed. There was another night we stayed at the hotel, and then the next day, when I got in, I just really did not feel well. My head hurt really bad, and I was just like, you know, I came in and I worked like 2 hours, and I told my boss I was on break, and I told her, I said, I thought I was gonna be able to pull it off because the doctor the night on Wednesday night, he actually wanted to write me out. And I was like, "No, don't write me out." He was like, you just really you need to go and you need to rest. You need to get some rest. You need to go and just, I'm going to give you a note." And I said, "No, don't write me out." I was like, "Because I'm going back to work when I leave here." He was like, "Why are you going back to work when you leave here?" And I said, "I'm going back to work when I leave here to finish out my shift." He was like, "Okay, so then you're gonna go rest tomorrow?" And I said, "No, I got one more day. I'm on one more day." I said, "Now I can make it these last couple hours tonight, and I can do one more shift tomorrow. I'll be good." So I go back to work the next day. After 2 hours, I was done. I was like, I was gonna try to at least make it half the day today, but I believe at this point I'm gonna bow out. I'm gonna bow out and I'm gonna go. Because we weren't get for one, there were two reasons why I just was like, I'm not even gonna try because my head hurt like crazy. I was exhausted. And people would think, okay, you stayed in a hotel room, nice warm hotel room, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't be all that tired. But just I was just exhausted. Like it was just so much and so much running and ripping, and it was too much. So I was like, I'm going to go home. And then the second reason why is because the snow and stuff had been melting. And I was like, when this shit start freezing up again tonight, it's going to be hell to get from here all the way back home to Arlington, because I work in Dallas. I work in a suburb of Dallas. And then I live in Arlington. So I was like, I'm not finna do all this, trying to get on this highway and drive on this ice when this stuff starts freezing up. So I was like, screw it. I'm finna go. And I came onto the house. Now, when I got to the house, when was on my way here, I thought I would meet my sister here, because she had been staying here at my house because she lost power at her house. Well, we never lost power here in our place. Our house never lost power. We never lost water. None of that. So the guys were up in here cozy and everything. And my guy, he was just like, well, we probably, we probably didn't lose any power. They didn't cut our power because we're right here next to the police station. So we are probably on the grid with the police station. So therefore, they didn't shut us down. But everybody, the family, all of our family on the outsides of us, on this side and on this side, they all lost, and we're in the middle of them. They all lost power. They all lost water. We were the only ones that did not lose power nor water at any time during this whole thing. So it makes sense when he says we're probably on the grid with the police station. That's why we never went without any power. And they were saying, apparently, my sister said, apparently they said people that were on the grids with hospitals and things like that, they never lost power because they didn't cut their power. Now, my thing is, with this whole bullshit ass week that we had here and all of the shenanigans here in Texas that people live through, they said they were going to do the rolling blackouts or brownouts. And they were going to turn off the grids. They were going to turn off the grids simultaneously, throughout the day. And then they'd be off for maybe an hour or two, and then they turn them back on. Well, they never tested that to see if it would work. They never tested it to see if those grids could hold up, especially with it being so frigidly cold, and none of y'all equipment is equipped to take that type of temperature. So you shut these things down and you don't even know that you could bring them back up. And apparently you couldn't. But then there's some other bureaucracy on the back end of all of this that we don't even know, man. That we don't even know what you really had in store for us. And me and and we talked about this on the show we did earlier today. And I really I am a conspiracy theorist somewhat, and I am of the thought process that we are in the time of purge. And when I say that, people will say, well, we don't have people right now. We may not have the type of purge that you think. We may not be having the movie Purge just yet. But we're inside of a type of purge. And what I mean by that is we started last year with the Rona. And that was a purge. That's a purge in itself, because what that does is that weeds out the weak. And if you're weak and you're sick, the eugenics of it all. They don't care if you're white. They don't care if you're black. They don't care if you're Asian. They don't care what nationality, race, or what have you, what you are. If you are a weak link and make it through this, they want you gone. The weak can't survive. So if you don't survive, according to them, you're one of the weaklings. You're a weakest link. They don't care that you're gone. So you were part of, we need to purge. Because what is Bill Gates always saying? That there's too much population, and we need to do something about that, which he tried to do in Africa, and has been doing in Africa for years. And then they come here with this vaccine that is not 100% because it hasn't been tested and it hasn't been out long enough. And you want us to take it. Now, we also look at the fact that you want us as Black people, you want us to take that. You say that we need to be the first ones to take it because we are the most susceptible and we are the ones that are dying at a higher rate than anyone else. And so we need to be the ones to take it first. Well, let's just deduce that. Let's dissect that situation. When have you ever cared? When has the government of the United States of America ever gave two shits about the welfare and health of melanated people? And not just melanated people, because there are some melanated people that they might seem to like. But let's talk African American people. When have they ever gave a damn about our health and well-being? Never, except for when we were slaves. They wanted us, we were high commodity. We were worth lots of money. So they wanted us to be healthy enough to work us to damn near death. They needed us to stay healthy enough to get out there and work in them fields. That's the only time they gave two shits about our health and well-being. And we can't even at this point in time get y'all to stop shooting us down like dogs in the street, but you worried about my health and well-being. So much so that you would put us, Black people, in front of your precious Caucasians. Let's think about that. Let's think about it. You really think that that's what this is about? It's because they want us to be healthy because we're dying at a higher rate than them? No, it has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is being the goddamn guinea pigs for these motherfuckers. That's what it has to do with. Nothing else. They want us to be the guinea pigs. But what they fail to realize when they put out this vaccine, that the majority of Caucasian people that go along with the system and believe everything that is said to them, they're so afraid that they want it, and they want it now. They don't care that there's not been adequate testing. They don't care that it's been proven that there's people that have had the shot and got Bell's palsy, got the shot and got sick and died the next day or a few days after they took the shot. All of those things. And they don't care. Why? Because they're so afraid of getting it. But they haven't even thought of the process that that particular shot doesn't actually make you immune to the disease, to the virus. And it does not even, so quote unquote, cure the virus. It just attacks your cells that can carry the virus when it's a whole lot. And I'm gonna digress because that's not what this video is about. So I'm gonna move on. Anyway, the shenanigans that we've been through for the last week was just trash. Texas needs to up their game. There needs to be a game plan for when winter storms roll through, which we do get every few years. Every we might get a snowstorm every 3 to 4 years. We get some type of snow or ice storm here. So the fact that you know that this is a thing and you still ain't never prepared when it happens. And these are the people that we vote for. These are the people that we put in office. These are the people that we put in control of shit. That can't even come up with a game plan for something that only happens every few years. You don't have nothing in place and ready to go, which makes absolutely no sense. Turbines should never shut down. And if you know you got turbines and you know that you have winter storms every once in a while, why would you not have insulation of your turbines? Why? Because you don't have to. Why? Because you have never joined the national power grid. And I just learned that what that actually meant. I knew that they weren't part of the national power grid, that they had their own here in Texas, but I never knew what it meant. Now I know what it means. And it means that that's how they are able to have all these different electric companies here. But let's talk about that too. There's all these different electric companies that usually we think is run by Oncor, but it's really not. Oncor is one aspect of it, but there's a Arcourt or something. Arcourt, I think that's what it's called, Arcourt, Court, something like that. They're the ones that really operate the electric in this freaking state. They run the electric in this freaking state. And they're not associated with the national power grid, because with the national power grid, they could have directed power from other cities that were not affected by this storm to us and kept us running and kept us going. But because we're not a part of the national power grid and we have our own, we didn't have that option. Why don't we have our own? Why do we have our own and we are not part of them? It's because they don't want to be regulated. They don't want to have to pay certain taxes. And they always keep wanting to separate themselves from the United States. Texas always wants to be their own entity and they want to separate themselves from the United States, which would be a total mistake because they're never prepared for anything. Anything in Texas. We're not prepared for hurricanes. We're not prepared for snowstorms. We're not prepared for anything disastrous to happen here. And that's just sad. So think about if Texas was out on its own country. Yeah. Could we really make it? I don't think so. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, that was my experience this week with this super winter storm that we had here in Texas. Luckily, we're out of it. We've seen the worst part of it. Now it's just time for cleanup for many, many people and to try to put their lives back together. Several people lost their lives in this, and not just the people that were on in car accidents and things. People froze to death in this. And that is a sad reality of the shit storm that these people allowed to happen. That should not have happened. And people shouldn't have died in their homes because they froze to death in their homes. We're not even talking about homeless people on the street that don't have places to be and didn't have a warm place to be. Um, we're talking about people in their own houses that perished because they turned off the power. They turned off their power, therefore no heat. And then we got one mayor talking about get up off your ass if you ain't got no heat and no water in your house. You need to get up off your ass and do for your family and stop looking for people to give you a handout. Get up off of your lazy ass and do something. Okay. Then we got another one. Goes off to Cancun because his daughters have been cold for 3 days, 2, 3 days, whatever he said. And he was trying to be a good father because they asked if they could why don't we just go to Cancun, just go to Mexico? And you said, oh, sure, yeah. So you have the money to do that and get you and your kids and your wife on a plane and go to Cancun at the drop of a hat, while other people, your constituents, people that voted you in, is suffering. You go to Cancun. That's the type of shit we're dealing with here. And you wonder why people don't trust the damn government. But at the end of the day, I thank my ancestors and my God that me and mine are safe. And all of us made it through. And I pray for the ones that lost their lives and lost their family members, and also the ones that have had great devastation and loss of property because it's been a lot. But if you guys made it to the end of this show, to my end of my video, I do appreciate you joining. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I know this was a long video, but I really thank you guys for sticking with me. Thanks again. Holla at your girl, and I will talk to y'all later.